Here we go again. Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto, and Occupy Wall. There's another big difference with this Romney comparison is it was his firm's dough. But this president's rescues, well, that is our dough. Tom Belesis notes the difference.
How you doing, Neil?
What do you make of this?
You know, I think it's pure hypocrisy on behalf of the president, you know, and his track record shows it in more ways than one. I mean, the question you have to ask, what was Mitt Romney's job at Bain? Was it to create jobs for the U.S. or create returns for his investors? He created a tremendous amount of returns for his investors, and he did very well doing that. Now, if you look at the president's track record as the president of the United States, he's failed miserably creating jobs in the U.S. because, you know, we're at 8%, 9% unemployment, and the numbers probably, if you really look at them deeply enough, they're probably more like 12 or 13%. So if you go back and you look at what the president's actually saying, it's a diversion tactic to keep everyone away from his horrible track record and just pin it on Mitt Romney.
But if you're Mitt Romney, you can't go around and say, look, I mean, I rewarded my investors. You have to go around and say you have created jobs, which he did. And you did come in and turn around a lot of operations, Office Depot, a host of others, that were on life support.
Right.
But does that get too convoluted in a debate?
It doesn't, because, you know, the guy, and I mean, Mitt Romney is a very competent man. Everything he's done has been a success, from the Olympics to governor to businessman. You know, the only thing that, you know, this president has to go on that he ran for office, the only competent thing that he's good at doing is speech making. So if you look at the...
Well, he's going to argue, as I've mentioned with Gretchen, that, look, the trend is my friend, the economy's going my way, it's not great, but it's better. Remember what I inherited.
You're right, Neil, but if you look at the fact that his track record at leading this economy in terms of recovery has been the worst since going back to the Great Depression.
But we just look at the Dow today, Tom.
Sure.
We had it now over, you know, 13,279. I think that's a 4-year high for the Dow.
It is.
He's going to argue, look, even those Wall Street guys who hate me like Tom have to thank me for providing that wind at their back.
And I don't hate the president, let me state that. But all I can say is that his track record speaks for himself. I mean, he's talking about Mitt Romney outsourcing jobs overseas. Well, what about, you know, the green energy companies that he was funding and giving $2 billion tax credits?
You know, you're very good on Wall Street history. I always hear, well, actually, Wall Street does better under Democratic presidents, or more to the point, Democratic presidents and Republican Congresses, than it does under just Republican exclusive rule. Now, that leaves out the whole Ronald Reagan experience.
Right.
But what do you make of that?
You know,
Who do you prefer?
You know, I prefer a Republican in office because they're more free market orientated than a government-minded.
But the last president had to surrender that in a meltdown and bailouts and rescues, and it bothered him, but he did it.
He did. There's no question about it. But if you look at the fact that if we're running on a track record here, right, and in a corporation, which America is a corporation, you got to run on a track record. In the last 4 years, his track record has been horrible, and it's time for him to step aside and let someone who's been a success at running a corporation run the greatest country in the world, the United States of America.
Thomas, always good. How's that little baby doing?
He's doing phenomenal. Thank you, Neil.
He just had a beautiful son, and that kid is just going ka-ching. Is it a home run? Like, is it a home run?
Thank you, Neil.
Congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
In the meantime, when there's something strange in your neighborhood,